Hello all, this is Jayashree, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of CSE AML, working in MLRIT. Today, I'm going to discuss about semantic web and the role of metadata, ontologies and linked data in cognitive computing. Right, before going into semantic web, let's first analyze what is semantic web. Semantic web is the extension of a traditional World Wide Web, where it is envisioned by Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee is the person who first invented semantic web. And the main aim is to make the web content machine readable and interoperable by adding meaning semantics to data. That is, whichever readable content is there in our World Wide Web, that is being extended using a semantic web by the person Tim Berners-Lee. This person has started the World Wide Web around 1960s. So let's see the differences between Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But before going into it, the latest is Web 3.0. Let's see what is it. The term 3.0, it was first appeared in the year 2006 in a blog which was written by, in an article which was written by Jeffrey Zeldman about a critical Web 2.0 and which was associated technologies such as Ajax. So let's talk about the history, not too much. Let's talk about the history about Berners-Lee, Tim Berners-Lee. In 2006, May, he first introduced Web 2.0, where 2.0 was talking about the misty data which was accessed to a semantic web which is integrated across a huge space in the database, and this also had an access to an unbelievable data resources, right? And in 2006, Jerry Yang, who is the founder and chief of Yahoo, he reached a critical mass where the almost all the richest devices and richest ways of interacting with network, not only on hardware but in many areas, Jerry Yang was introducing the data resources more into social media. And let's see the differences between Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0. The web has evolved specifically over the years, and in Web 1.0, it is a static web. It is a static web. And Web 2.0 is a social web. And 3.0 is an intelligent web, right? And this was introduced in the year 1990s. This was introduced in the year 2000s. And this was introduced in the year 2020, right? And the static web mostly talks about only read only, where users can only view the data, and this is basically a static data. They can just view the data. Wherein the Web 2.0, which acts as a social web, it is a user generated content in the social media, and it is very interactive websites. Interactive websites. Right, next. In Web 3.0, which acts as an intelligent web, it focuses on AI, machine learning, blockchain, and this is also decentralized. This is decentralized, where it enables all the machines to understand the data and also it personalizes the user's information to an extent, right? Yeah, you can let's discuss in detail about web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, where web 1.0 talks about the web browser, which is mostly driven from the interactive web of hypertext. Interactive, it is a interactive web of hypertext where pages are used for presentation. It also gives logic. It is having the information of data which are distinguishable in all the areas. And web 2.0 is generally a web, it gives web services based on API, based on the APIs. Mostly it's a web of services which are separated from an application logic, from intermingled presentations, like you have a combinations of the logic, you have combinations of data pages from the web, and also you have a combinations of presentations, data, and so on. Now web 2.0 is having the information about, it have all the services of this intermingled data in the web. And when you talk about 1.0, the 1.0 is an example of web 2.0 application, and these profiles include mostly Ajax, and web 2.0 does not explicitly expose any data models. Now coming to web 3.0, which is happening, this is the mostly the happening step which decomposes the monolithic web pages into discrete components. You have different components that includes presentations like HTML, XHTML, and also the logic which we were talking about. So the presentations like HTML, XHTML, and the logic like web services which are given in APIs, and data is nothing but the data model, Trinity. It transitions web containment from web pages to web data. Now it transforms these web pages to web data, and it also emerges and simplifies the development through all the presentations, logics, and data, where it gives you a data driven or a composite applications which make the user friendly, or it provides the easy explanation or easy understanding to the user. Okay, it provides an easy, transparent, and organized access to the world. That is the organized content in the form of data, in the form of information, and in the form of knowledge. Now, if you see the semantic web, which we were talking about, the World Wide Web now, is humans do everything and computers also acts as tools. And here problems are abound to the user's interest. But World Wide Web in future, computers do a lot more, which is yet to be seen, and computers work on our behalf. That is now we are talking about AI, ML, blockchain, and DL, computing, NLP, natural language processing. Now all these are something that which is being used to develop models which is doing your work on your behalf. And there are some more by which we have to face some kinds of issues where a machine makes, that we'll be discussing in the next classes. So here in future we are yet to see that computers will just work as humans. Right, what are the major motivations for the semantic web is? Let's talk about the problems which are faced in semantic web, like few problems are faced, like web, it was built for humans as we have to use it, and these humans, they interpret that the need, they have to understand the content. It does not scale, the understanding does not scale, or it does not measure what is the understanding rate of the user. So that is the basic problem, because the data is available in the web, but from the web, when a user is extracting or using it, it depends on the user understanding ki he understands it in an easier method, or in a moderate manner, or in a typical manner. So the data which, or the information which is available in the web, has to be in a proper understandable way. The content has to be so in a format that it can be understood by any person having a different mindset. Okay, and it is particularly difficult to automate the unforeseen situations. It has unforeseen situation is something that you have to understand, and it is very difficult, particularly difficult to automate it, because this is all manual, where understanding level has to be done by a human. So that cannot be automated, as the information is already available, right? So it's not the exact solution, but it's a rough solution that makes the web friendlier for our machines. Like, we need to make a machine understandable content which is not a machine readable. We already have the machine understandable content. So it is something that we cannot give information that which is, speaking in a human language, as in a friendly language, because a machine has a understanding pattern. It has a body language, where if you are asking a machine in such format, only a machine can understand, or the machine will be in a situation to give you a proper reply. So here the solution, approximate solution may be that the data has to be in a machine understandable manner, but not in a machine readable format. And the machine understandable mean content which is accessible in a formal semantic way. It should be in a formal semantic way. And the web is more than just a library. Think of it as infrastructure for services and functionality. Not only services and functionality, there are other more features or facilities available, and these act like library for a user. Like, let's move on to the architecture of semantic web, where the semantic web shows you the whole picture of it, right? So first you will have the URL of a web page. You will have a URL of it, and it's having a URL is having a Unicode, wherein this URL code is having few spaces like namespaces, XML. Okay, and these we'll be discussing about ontologies, RDF schemas, RDF MS and all. So these are in turn a part of the whole web, right? When you are talking about web, URL plays a major role, right? Your RDF is having some means and measures which follows for a user understandable content, and along with this, it also have rules which is followed to give the information in a proper content. And it is also having the ontology. Ontology is the grammar presentation, grammatical presentation of a sentence. Like Geeta is a student. Is a joining word where it is acting between a noun. Geeta is a girl. Okay. So is the relation given between the noun and person. Okay. So this is the relation. Relation is nothing but the ontology. the presentation what you give is called, the relation which is given is called the ontology. And for this you have different rules. You have the framework for it, you have a logical framework for it, and you have particular proofs which has to be satisfied for a presentation of a framework. And it should be, the information which is there has to be trusted, that it is a valid information and that can be used for any other purposes. Like the information can be used for any designing a project or designing a model or a bot. So it has to be confirmed that the information which is used from the web is correct and valid in an understandable manner. And every information is having a particular signature, that it is from a so and so web page. Like say, foreign, you are getting some data from a web page where it is related to a research paper. So that gives you a signature that the data or a paper may be from this particular web page. Like say we have Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a web page wherein you get different kinds of research papers. Okay, one of the source. So you have SCI and likewise. So in case if I get a paper from any based on the DOI, it shows that the paper may be from a Google Scholar, from so and so, or from so and so website. So that is a signature where it gives that particular information. It can be given from that web page, and it can be encrypted. The data which is available should be genuine, the information should be valid, and along with that it has to be encrypted. Okay, clear with the architecture? Right, in this semantic web there are main concepts, as we were talking about RDF and all in the previous architecture. So here XML, in this main concepts, XML is something that it provides an elementary syntax. XML is something that it provides an elementary syntax for content structure within the document. You have a document, and in the document it's having some content in a structure, in a format where it gives you a elemental syntax. What is the schema? XML schema is a language. This is a language which provides, and it also restricts the structure and content of elements. It restricts the structure. Say I have to follow 100 lines. I should only follow 100 lines. Right? And also the content of the element. The content of the element also contains within the XML document. What is RDF? It is a simple language for expressing data models. RDF is also a model which can be used to present XML syntaxes. Okay, XML syntaxes. XML itself is a syntax, right? So RDF also supports this particular XML syntax for representing it or expressing the data model. What is the schema for RDF? RDF schema is a vocabulary for describing properties. Vocabulary. It's nothing but a grammar which describes the properties and classes of RDF based resources. Okay. Next is OWL. OWL adds more vocabulary for describing properties and classes. Right? So these are the main semantic web. Web itself tells you that it is a web page. So in the web page, what do you have? You have content. That content should be in a proper grammatic understandable. It should have a proper sentences in a proper vocabulary, in a proper understandable way that any user in any pattern, it has to be understandable. The main key features of semantic web is machine understandable data, structured data representation, linked data, and automation, AI integration. Machine understandable data, a machine understandable data is nothing, it's an unlike a current website, current web page. It is designed by the human, and the semantic web enables computers to interpret and process information. Machine understandable data, as discussed in the previous slide. Machine understandable data is a content which we give as prompt to the user, understandable to the machine, so that it understands your requirement and it gives you the reply. Structured data representation. Structured data representation uses RDF. RDF is a resource description framework. We were talking about the RDF schema, right? RDF schema, it follows the XML structure, syntax, XML syntax. So your structured representation, data representation uses RDF, which is nothing but a resource description framework, and OWL. This is web ontology language to define relationship between the concepts. Linked data which connects different pieces of information across the web. It tries to connect different pieces of information across the web. It also provides the knowledge, retrieving in a efficient manner. It retrieves in a more efficient manner. Automation and AI integration. It enables AI-driven search engine. It enables the search engines, chatbots, and also it recommends systems to provide more precise and content-aware responses. It also provides more precise content. Say you are requesting a prompt that I need data related to some event. How is it organized? Okay. So maybe the prompt is not given properly. The prompt has to be in a very clear and adequate manner, that it gives you a clear picture of what you are asking. In case if the prompt is not given properly, the output which you are visualizing may not be given in a proper format. So you need to change the prompt. Okay. So here your content has to be more precise, as well as the context has to be very, it should be in a very responsive way, that your imaginary output has to match your visual content. Yeah, this is about the Tim Berners-Lee. He's the person who started talking about the web. Now, this is a quote which he has given. He introduced it, and the quote what he has given is, the semantic web is not separate web. It is not a separate web, but it's an extension of current one, in which information is given well-defined meaning, and it is also betterly enabling computers and people to work in cooperation. That is, the system and the person has to work in progress equally with an understanding manner. Like we all know about traditional web, untraditional web. So here traditional web is a web page which is mentioned like Jaguar, but a machine cannot distinguish if it's a car brand or an animal. That is a traditional web. What is semantic web? You give semantic web as metadata and ontologies provide context, they provide context, and that context is used to help machines to understand whether Jaguar refers to a car manufacturer or a wildcat based on the user query. That is semantic web. Traditional web is something that it just give a keyword key, it's a Jaguar. Now your system doesn't understand what Jaguar you are talking about and what are you really, requesting for. So semantic web comes into picture, and with the help of metadata and ontologies, they provide information, they provide content to help the machine to understand what exactly the human is trying to communicate with the machine. So based on the request given by the person, Jaguar, it refers, based on the information it is having, it refers, and it tries to get the information from the metadata, and it checks whether you are asking or talking about a car manufacturer Jaguar, or whether you are talking about a wildcat. Okay, based on the query, it doesn't only take the keyword from your query, it also analyzes what exactly you are talking about. Right, next, differences between a traditional web and a semantic web. So here, when we are talking about 1.0 and 2.0 in a traditional web, and 3.0 in semantic web, we have few features like data interpretation, data representation, search mechanisms, data linking, automation and AI, personalization, and few examples. Now, in traditional web 1.0 and 2.0, data interpretation is meant for human reading only. And for semantic web, we have 3.0, we have machine readable language and also machine understandable language. Okay, data interpretation is for machine readable format and understandable format also. Next feature comes data representation, wherein this talks about an unstructured data. It's a traditional web where it talks about an unstructured data, nothing but HTML and XML. And semantic web is about structured data. Now, in structured data, we spoke about RDF, ODE, OWL, and ontologies. This semantic web supports these three structures. Next feature is search mechanism. Search mechanism basically uses Google and Bing. And for semantic web, we use Google Graphs, Google Knowledge Graphs, nothing but a content which is aware to search using AI. So, you use your own way of retrieving the data in a knowledgeable graph. Data linking feature, if you talk about in traditional web, it's a standalone web page with only hyperlinks. So it just gives you the hyperlink, and you need to go open the hyperlink, go inside the web page and check whether you have a relevant data in it or not. Where semantic web, it is a interconnected data using linked data principles. Interconnected data is, it surely tells that it is having some interconnection between the shown data and the given data. That is, the linking up of web page is definitely done in semantic web. Next is automation and AI. This is having a limited automation which relies on user input, and here in semantic web, you have an AI driven data which is having a reasoning, and also it can have a decision making capability. Personalization for traditional web is talks about the rule based recommendations. So it definitely, your traditional web will follow the rules which are given to it, but in semantic web, the recommendations are taken based on the user's context. Okay, so in traditional web, the example is nothing but a web page which displays a list of movies, say, and in semantic web, here, based on the movie genre, based on the actor, it suggests, based on the personality, it suggests or it recommends that you have to search this content, or you can watch this kind of movie on your interest. For this semantic web, from the previous slides, the main key points which you can take away are: traditional web focuses, traditional web basically focuses on displaying data for humans, right? semantic web talks about, it enhances the web by structuring and linking data to enable machine understandable format. It enables the machine understandable format. This evolution supports AI, NLP, knowledge graph, which leads to smarter applications. What are these smarter applications? Nothing but Siri, Alexa, Google Assistants, and so on. Right? Yes. So, yeah, the next topic is about role of metadata, ontologies, and linked data in semantic web. This is related to your web semantic. So, this basically relies on metadata, ontologies, and linked data. Now, all these are used to make the web content machine readable, and it is used for intelligently connected between all metadata, ontologies, and linked data. And these components enable all the applications to process, understand, and it has a reason with data effectively. They have a reason to make a decisions with information effectively. Clear? Now, talking about the metadata in brief, metadata is a data about data. Okay, what does that mean? Data about data is that it provides the context and meaning of information. It provides the context along with the meaning of that particular information. Now, how does this help? It helps the machine to understand what the data represents rather than just displaying it. What is the machine? It helps to understand what the data represents rather than just displaying it. Okay, so this explains what the data talks about. Like example, a traditional web page might contain a movie like Inception. Okay, so here metadata describes the title as Inception, directed as Christopher Nolan, and it was released in 2010. The genre is science fiction. So this is the metadata giving information. Okay, this is metadata, not only giving information but also making it in an machine understandable way. Okay, the data is represented rather than just displaying it. So the rule, the basic rule of semantic web is, it enables accurate search results by allowing AI to understand the meaning of the content, and it also supports the structured data which formats like RDF. What is RDF? Again, it's a resource description framework. It's a framework which we were talking about, the architecture framework of semantic web, right? So next, coming to ontologies. Ontologies is about relationships between concepts. That is, it's a structured framework that defines relationship between different concepts in a domain. Now, this uses hierarchies, properties, and rules to connect the data intelligently. It connects the data intelligently. Now, like example, ontology for animal, if we take an example like animal, okay, animal, mammal, dog. Now, do you understand if I tell like this? No, right? So, say, I have given an example like, dog has properties. Dog has properties like bark, has 4 legs. Now, these are the properties of the dog. Yes. And dog is a subtype of a mammal. Dog is the subtype of mammal. Mammal is a subtype of animal. Right? So the role of semantic web in ontologies is it enhances AI reasoning. It also gives the reasoning ability by structuring relationships, which is used in NLP, AI assistants, and expert systems. It is also used in agents. Okay. Next is linked data. Linked data is used for connecting. Linked data is linking of data, which is used for connecting global information, which is used for connecting globally with the information. Like linked data refers to interconnecting data sets across different domains using standardized formats. Uses URIs. URIs are uniform resource identifiers, which is used to create a global knowledge graph. Global knowledge graph is something that what information you have, based on it will show the graph, wherein again depends on the year what you are searching of interest, history in 1990, 1920, and so on. Like Google Knowledge is the graph which connects data from Wikipedia and more to give a rich research result. Now here say I am searching Einstein in Google. Okay. His biography from Wikipedia, his famous theories from research papers, and also the related scientists from structured knowledge graphs. Okay. So here linked data is something that I have given only the source of a person. That is, I am only asking about one person information. Now linked data is something that it gives information related to that person in different ways. Now Einstein, what is the biography of him from one web page? Another about the famous theories of him from another web page, and related scientists along with Einstein, who all scientists have worked or he have traveled for some years. What is the structured knowledge graph from it? It gives from another web page. So what is the role of semantic web in linked data is that it provides context aware AI search. Example, again very known, Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistants. It also helps in knowledge based applications. Also it helps in giving recommendations along with decision making. Okay, right. So here about the overall in the semantic web, what all the technologies we were discussing about is about RDF, resource description framework, which is this resource framework is used for storing metadata, and OWL is used for web ontology language, which is used to create ontologies. Again, ontologies are something that which is giving you the more related information in a very precise way. It is having a subgraphs in it. You give one thing and that's having a subgraph related to it internally. And the other thing is SPARQL. It's a query language which is used to retrieve the semantic data from the web. And others is open data, linked open data. Here it has a connecting global knowledge to give graphs based on the information in the global web, like database PDF, DBPDF, Wikidata, and so on. So here finally I am concluding this by few points, very catchy points, like metadata is, we have discussed about metadata, we have discussed about ontologies, we have discussed about linked data, right? So metadata basically helps to describe the data, what sort of data is it, and what kind of, in which category does your data fall into, and it makes it the information or data which is available, it makes it in an understandable way, machine understandable way. Ontologies define relationships between concepts, and linked data talks more about global knowledge for AI driven applications. Altogether, the power of semantic web enables intelligent and automated reasoning. It enables the data, and along with that it automates the data in a reasoning format. I hope this session is clear for you. Thank you.